The announcement that The Wheel of Time will not be returning for Season 4 came as a devastating blow to fans who have followed Amazon's ambitious fantasy adaptation since its debut. Based on Robert Jordan's expansive 14-book saga, the series has struggled to strike the perfect balance between fidelity to the source material and the necessity of adaptation for television. But with 3 seasons completed and so many threads left dangling, is there any hope of a proper ending? There may be only one way to resolve this, and it doesn't involve another traditional season. Season 3, which has already completed filming and is expected to premiere in early 2026, reportedly covers the events of The Shadow Rising, the 4th book in Jordan's series. That still leaves a massive 10 books worth of story, including the beloved Fires of Heaven, Lord of Chaos, and the final trilogy co-written by Brandon Sanderson, completely untouched. Considering the sheer scale of Jordan's world, sprawling cast of characters, and the thematic depth of the series, the cancellation is not just premature. It feels like an impossible challenge for closure. Yet the fandom has seen miracles happen before. The most likely scenario that could allow the Wheel of Time to end properly is through a series of feature-length films or specials that serve as condensed adaptations of key story arcs. This wouldn't be unprecedented. Amazon has already experimented with special event programming for The Expanse and The Boys, and with the success of Rings of Power and Fallout. The platform understands the value of building franchises. These proposed specials could take the most pivotal storylines: Rand's transformation into the Dragon Reborn, Egwene's rise in the White Tower, Mat's journey with the Band of the Red Hand, and Perrin's internal struggle with his wolf nature, and craft emotionally satisfying conclusions. Think of it less as a book-by-book adaptation, and more as a greatest hits anthology of the second half of the saga. This would require careful writing and tight storytelling, but it's possible, especially if fan demand surges in the coming months after Season 3 drops. Another viable route is animation. Warner Bros. Has had tremendous success turning sprawling comic arcs and novels into animated films for DC. A similar approach could be adopted for The Wheel of Time. Animation, particularly in a style akin to Castlevania or The Legend of Vox Machina, would allow the vast world, complex magic system, and intense battles to be visualized without the astronomical costs of live action. It also opens the door for returning voice talent without requiring full cast involvement. Of course, all this depends on fan response and streaming numbers. If Season 3 performs well, especially internationally, Amazon could be convinced to pivot rather than abandon the property entirely. That could look like a miniseries concluding the last battle, or a multi-part special focused on the Tarmin-Dedan conflict. It's also worth noting that other streaming platforms may express interest in picking up the rights, especially if Amazon is open to partnerships or licensing the IP to a third party. For many fans, the thought of not seeing pivotal moments like Rand's duel with the Dark One, Egwene's heroic sacrifice, or Mat blowing the horn of Valere is unacceptable. These scenes are not just fan service. They represent the philosophical and emotional heart of Jordan's series. A half-finished adaptation risks not only disappointing fans, but diminishing the cultural legacy of one of fantasy literature's most influential works. The cast and crew have expressed both disappointment and cautious optimism. Showrunner Rafe Judkins hinted in a recent interview that he has alternate outlines prepared in case the journey has to take a different shape. That could be our biggest clue. The creative team might already be working behind the scenes to secure a way to wrap up the story, either via shorter format storytelling or a film trilogy that captures the spirit, if not the full breadth, of the source material. Ultimately, the only proper way for the Wheel of Time to end, now that traditional seasons are no longer an option, is for Amazon or another studio to commit to a definitive, structured conclusion. Whether that takes the form of films, specials, or animation, the story deserves closure. The characters deserve to complete their arcs. And the fans, many of whom have followed this world for decades, deserve to see the end of the journey. Robert Jordan always spoke of the turning of the wheel as something eternal. Stories live on through the people who carry them, the audiences who embrace them. Even if season 4 isn't happening, the tale isn't over. It's just waiting for the right turn.